Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here on a Tuesday. It is also April 1st, the beginning of a new month. Jordan, welcome to April.
Yes.
Okay.
Busy season's going to start in about a month.
Busy season is going to start. So it's if it's not already busy, it will be busier. Why is it going to be busy? What's busy
I
season?
have a lot.
What do we have going on?
Oh, weddings, bachelorette parties, trips, and all that jazz.
Very busy.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Busy season. I should have just believed her and gone with it. But those will all be fun events, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet. Yeah. Money's always an issue. But it is April 1st. It's April Fool's, and I'm not necessarily big into April Fool's Day. But I think some people in the Ohio Valley may have thought I was pulling an April Fool's joke this morning. When I drove in at 5:00 when we started the show, when we started the sunrise show, I said to Jeff, I said, I saw some snowflakes coming down on the way up the hill to the station. And that got people saying, I don't see any snowflakes. What's going on? I'm telling you, I saw. I mean, it had only been 10 of them.
No, there was none.
Well, then what would they have been?
Rain.
They were like white snowflakes.
You're seeing things.
That could be a possibility. So, no snowflakes for me. But one thing we don't kid around about or fool around about is Valley Converting. They're absolutely sensational. If you're looking to recycle paper products, make sure you head to T-Town, to the Gem City of Toronto, Ohio. Check in with Mike Biasi and the crew. They will take care of you. Make sure they have all of your paper products recycled.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
recycle for your future.
Now, Jordan, it's not just April Fool's Day. It's not just April Fool's Day. It is also National Tomfoolery Day, which is something that a company invented. So I'm not even going to mention that. National Sourdough Bread Day, one of the world's oldest leavened breads produced through long fermentation. 1500 BC, Egypt was where that bread started. So sourdough bread, pretty good. Like it. It's also 1 cent day. National 1 cent day. Now, what is that? Well, I don't know. It's the appreciation of the penny, I guess. And President Trump, he's thinking about it costs too much. What does it cost? About 9 cents to produce a penny or 5 cents. So you're losing money on making the penny at this point. But it was first produced back in 1787. Benjamin Franklin apparently invented everything or had every big idea back in that time because he designed the penny. It read, "Mind your business" on one side and "We are one" on the other. So just let everyone know we're together. The colonists are together. We're trying to form a nation, all that good stuff. It was 100% copper, bigger than today's penny. Then in 1856, the Flying Eagle penny was introduced. 1859, the Indian head cent. And then in 1909, the Abe Lincoln copper and zinc penny was introduced in 1909. So that is a little history for your 1 cent day on this April 1st.
Very nice.
Oh, I didn't look at that. I did not look at that. That's disappointing.
What?
Well, I normally look to see if there's any interesting birthdays that are listed, and I forgot to do that. So while we have a moment, April Fool's Day would be if I ended the show at 8:59. We know that's
April
not happening.
1st. Here we go.
That's not going to happen. That would be crazy talk.
Birthdays and events.
Who do you got over there?
Oh, people I don't know.
Dead people. People from long ago. Well, you're starting at 1852. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these are.
The first dishwasher.
The first dishwasher. You know, that was my first job. Dishwasher. Marinelli's Supper Club, Lake Garda.
Oh no, I can't. It won't load.
Debbie Reynolds, 1932, award-winning actress. Career spanned 70 years.
Oh, Apple Computer Inc. is founded by Steve Jobs.
Well, there you go.
Google launches Gmail.
Wow. 1891, the Wrigley Company founded. Gum and all that good stuff.
The Air
Then
Force
they have
Academy
the Cubs.
established.
Oh, really?
The first U.S. Army helicopter battalion forms at Fort Bragg.
What year was that?
1954.
Been past Fort Bragg. 1954, that's you mentioned the Air Force Academy. The President Eisenhower opened that up. Department of Transportation, 1967. President Nixon signs bill limiting cigarette advertisements. And that is interesting today because it's Take Down Big Tobacco Day. So, President, maybe that goes hand in hand. President Nixon signing that and to limit cigarette advertisements. And there's always been the battle between big tobacco and government. And some people like tobacco, other people's don't. Causes, it's been shown to cause cancer and everything else. So, Big Tobacco Day is also to stand up to big tobacco. Take down Tobacco National Day. So those are a few things. Not real exciting on the birthdays.
Mm-mm.
No one's fooling around. Now April Fools. We want to talk basketball and stuff because I have a story that I really like. Good morning, Julie. Good morning. Hopefully you're having a great day. So before we get to April Fool's Day, to talk about that, let's talk about this. Last night, Major League Baseball, if you're interested in the local teams, Pirates 1-4. Yeesh. They're not looking good doing it. No, they lost to Tampa Bay last night. Tampa Bay 3-1. Tonight they play again 7:05 in Tampa Bay. Cleveland Guardians 2-2. San Diego is now 6-0 after San Diego beats the Guardians last night 7-2. They played tonight's game at 9:40 in San Diego. And the thing is, what a difference. Think about this. What a difference it is. Cleveland Guardians are 2-2. You don't feel so bad about that. 2-2. You're like, okay, it's 2-2. First 4 games, no big deal. Pirates are 1-4. And everybody's like, they might as well just cancel the rest of the season.
Yeah. I agree.
I will say this, though. If you recall last year, Pirates got off to a nice start. A very nice start. To the point people were, about a month in, people were like, wow, this is fantastic. Look at the Pirates. It's going to be their year. And then they went in the dumper. Didn't finish strong. So this, I ask, is this the beginning of the
psychology.
Opposite? Reversing it. Yeah. Okay, we got off to a terrible start, but now we finished strong.
I think it's just going to be terrible all around.
Wow.
What about the Reds?
What about the Reds?
Yeah.
Reds kind of feel like the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh.
2-2.
Oh.
All right, that's fine. They beat Texas 3-2. Last night's game 14-3. Cincinnati with a big night. And they play tonight at 6:40. So they'll play again. So that's a look at the baseball. Now, we talked about, we're not going to talk about the men's NCAA tournament, but we will talk about the women's NCAA tournament. Didn't see any of the Texas game. Saw a little bit of the pregame, didn't see the Texas game, and then caught the post-game interview with the Texas winners. They played TCU, so an all-Texas matchup there to go to the Final Four. Texas wins at 58-47. Texas never trailed in the game. Madison Booker, 18 points to lead the way to Texas as they head to Tampa, Florida for the Final Four. Haley Van Lith, the all-everything guard for TCU, had 17 points in that game. So Texas will play South Carolina. That should be a great matchup. They split the regular season, split the regular season games, and then South Carolina beat Texas 64-45 in the SEC tournament. So they will play again, this time in the Final Four. So Texas hoping to split the season series and go to the championship game. Now the other game will be UConn against UCLA. UCLA, the top overall seed. UCLA I had already moved in. UConn last night had to play a Southern Cal. Juju Watkins, their National Player of the Year candidate for Southern Cal, was out of the game with an injury to her knee. Paige Beckers, who suffered a knee injury a few years ago, she was the all-everything #1 recruit coming out of high school. She finished with 31 points. Sarah Strong, the #1 recruit freshman for UConn, finished with 22 points, 17 rebounds. UConn makes it. They extend the record for number of Final Fours that they've reached to 24.
Wow.
Gino Auriemma, who has been the coach there for 40 years, so basically he's gone to the Final Four over half the time, which is just ridiculous. And he will go for his 12th title as the head coach.
Wow.
He's the #1 all-time winningest coach, college basketball, men's or women's. But Paige Beckers with 31 points. I saw a little bit of that game, and UConn was just too much. So it's UConn, UCLA, Texas, South Carolina, and Tampa, Florida this weekend. I think they play on Friday and Sunday, and the men play Saturday, Monday, I think. So that's that. So here we go. Let's see. John Michael, Bill and Jordan, which famous singer was tragically killed on this day?
Oh, it didn't say that anywhere.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that anyplace. I do not know. I would be guessing. What famous singer is the? I'm asking for a hint. Is the person a member of the 27 Club? A lot of famous people that were singers. Actually, 27 years old, they died.
I'm looking it up.
Jim Morrison, maybe? He's the first one that pops in my head. Him or Janis Joplin? Those would be my two. Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison. I'm not sure, but those would be my guesses. If I get
this is saying March 30th.
Who?
Hold on.
It's a good question.
Did you say, how did he die? How did the person die?
Bill and Jordan, which famous singer tragically killed on this day? And then I said Janis Joplin or Jim Morrison. Those are my guesses. I think Morrison was a drug overdose, wasn't he? Think Motown. Motown. All right, that's the hint. Motown. Think Motown. No, not a member of the 27 Club. Judy, checking in. Pirates don't seem to be motivated to win. They don't. They're not playing like it. You know, that's a tough one to say. I just think they don't have the talent, perhaps, to be a challenger right now. They need someone to light a spark. They need someone to have a big night. They need if Skeens pitches Friday, I think he might be scheduled to pitch. I'm not sure, but whenever Skeens, he needs to just go out and shut someone down for 7-8 innings and just win the game. Yeah. Or they need Brian Reynolds to hit 2 home runs in a game, or Andrew McCutcheon. They need something to get them show a little life, because right now I think they're feeling like the waterfall is on top of them. Right, Jordan is trying to look up.
I have no idea.
No idea. All right, John Michael, let us off the hook. Think Motown.
No idea.
Tragically killed. Otis Redding. I don't think Otis Redding's not Motown, though. I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Marvin Gaye. He was, I believe his father shot him. If I'm going totally off of off my memory, which I don't think is very good. But look up Marvin Gaye. Yep. Marvin Gaye, April 1st, 1984.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I was in high school. That was a big deal. Yeah, I think his dad shot him. Yeah, his father shot him. Can't remember. I would have to look it back up to get all the details, but yeah, not good at all. All right, well, let's switch. John Michael, as interesting as that is, and its history, and it's April 1st. Unfortunately, that was not a joke. But Marvin Gaye, one just a great great entertainer, great singer. Tragically died on April 1st, 1984. Good trivia question. That's a good trivia question. But here may be one that's a little more fun. Now, I don't know if anybody out there reads Sports Illustrated or did read Sports Illustrated. I loved Sports Illustrated as a kid. You read all about the different pro teams, whatever they had. Now, anything that was in there, I would read about. So, April Fools, 1985. Okay. So April Fool's Day, this is practical jokes, tricks. You know, I never even thought of this one. Someone on the National Day calendar, caramel covered onions, like a caramel apple.
Ew.
So you give them an onion, put it on a stick, and you bite into that. I mean, that's a little rough. Or gravy over ice cream instead of mashed potatoes. But we're really working at some stuff right there.
Ugh.
Now they think April Fools may be kind of after Mother Nature, because Mother Nature it's supposed to be April Fools because it's supposed to be a nice sunny day and you get snow or something like that. So that may be where it started. But anyways, Sports Illustrated, April 1st, 1985. This is April 1st edition, 1985. They came up with one of the all-time great articles in Sports Illustrated on April Fools that fooled everybody. Some people were in on it, but they fooled everybody. Now, if you don't know the story, the author of the article was a man by the name of George Plimpton, outstanding writer. He was also, I think he wrote the book The Paper Lion, when he went and got into the Detroit Lions. He wanted to experience what it would be like to be in training camp with a National Football League team. So he got into training camp with the Detroit Lions, and once with the players just abused him physically, but it turned out to be a great book. Turned it into a movie, actually. So George Plimpton was the writer. His assignment from the managing editor was to come up with a story about April Fool's Day and maybe, practical jokes on baseball players, teams, all that stuff. And he was having a tough time doing it. So the managing editor said, who noticed that April 1st was going to be the publication day for the magazine, he said, we need to do something. So he couldn't get anything done. He was having a tough time. So he said to Plimpton, he goes, write your own article, write something, do something on April Fools. So he comes up with this article called The Curious Case of Sid Finch. Now, on the cover of the Sports Illustrated, there's this guy in like a Mets jersey with the hat backwards, one boot on, no shoe on the other foot. He's leaning back like he's pitching a ball. And the article, which follows, had everybody fooled. I remember reading it. I do remember reading the article and thinking to myself, this can't be real.
Okay.
This can't be real. So here's the article, though, Jordan. This is how good this was. So The Curious Case of Sid Finch. Now, the premise, or Plimpton's character, raised in an English orphanage. Yeah, I keep wanting to add an S there. But anyways, so he's English. His father goes to Nepal or something like that, tragically dies. He stays in Tibet, learns yoga.
Wait, who is this guy? This
is Sid Finch. This is the guy, the character of the story that George Plimpton wrote. So now the thing is, he comes to the United States, but he could throw a baseball 168 miles an hour. And I remember reading, going, what? No one can throw 100, but you keep reading. It was like you were hooked. You're reading because you're like, oh my goodness, this can't be real. What you thinking of Sports Illustrated? They're not going to do a whole article. So it says with pinpoint accuracy. So he decides that he's going to make him a New York Met project, that someone sees him on a beach in Maine, Old Orchard Beach up in Maine. He's discovered there. The Mets scout him. They say he has pinpoint accuracy, throws 168 miles an hour, and doesn't even have to warm up. Can just throw. So they rate him, and at the time, they would rate pitchers on a scale of 8. Okay. They rated him a 9.
Okay.
So now in the article, they have pictures of Sid Finch with Lenny Dykstra, who played center field at the time for the Mets, with the actual pitching coach with the Mets. Now, the guy that's Sid Finch, he's an artist. He's an art teacher in Illinois that happens to be the buddy of the managing editor of the Sports Illustrated edition. But he's like 6'5", real tall, gangly looking guy. But he's with all these, so that made it even more convincing. You're like, well, there's Lenny Dykstra, there's the pitch coach. This has to be real, right? So, and now remember, there's no Twitter, there's no Facebook, there's no to check all this stuff out. So you're just kind of going by the word of this. Let's see. All right, John Michael's got another trivia question we'll get to in just a second after Sid Finch. So then they do the whole story. Everybody reads and everybody's just amazed. Like, this guy's going to be unbelievable. How and so, everybody reads it and you're kind of like, really? But at the same time, you're like, it's Sports Illustrated, and you have no way to research it. There's ESPN doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Or no, I think they just started to exist. So this is how big it was. Mets fans were through the roof. They're like, this is going to be awesome. We've got this guy. He's going to be incredible. A New York sports writer, a New York newspaper guy, calls the Mets up, ticked off.
Oh my God.
Why did you give Sports Illustrated this story? Why did you give them the exclusive? Why didn't we get it in our paper?
And they're probably like,
we cover you all the time. What's going on here? So the New York papers are all ticked off. Everybody, in New York, but the Mets fans are through the roof. They're like, this is going to be fantastic. So the Mets call a press conference for April 2nd in I think it was in St. Pete at Al Lang Field in St. Pete, where they used to have training camp. So they have a press conference. Get this: ABC, CBS, NBC, and the local St. Pete television station all show up to cover this.
Oh my God.
All show up to cover it. So the guy playing Sid Finch at the press conference, like, what are they gonna, they're gonna ask? Everybody's like, who's this? Here's the guy. This is gonna be unbelievable. He goes up to the podium and promptly announces his retirement. So now everybody's like, what in the world's going on? This guy's going to retire. He hasn't done anything yet. So everybody's like, his retirement. Yeah. So so this is just taking on a life of its own. And again, because there he is, he's standing right there. He was in the pictures with Lenny Dykstra and the pitching coach and the whole thing. So then it's revealed that in the subtitle for the article,
oh no,
which you really would have had to be really closely paying attention, but because I didn't even know this until today, but because I don't even remember the subtitle article, it said he's a pitcher, part yogi, and part recluse, impressively liberated from our opulent lifestyle.
What?
Sid's deceiving about yoga and his future in baseball. So he's a pitcher, part yogi. First letter in each word, HAPPY, happy. And part recluse, impressively liberated. April.
Happy April Fools.
And it goes on to spell out a happy April Fool's Day. And it was just, God. But you have a national publication that at the time was the authority on sports news, sports coverage. And again, there's no internet yet. There's no Twitter. There's no Google. There's no just looking stuff up. Like, where are we going to get this from? And everybody was hook, line, and sinker.
So after this press conference, like, what did they do?
They kind of let the cat out of the bed. They had to, because they were going to start the regular season.
So they said, "Oh, he retired, but actually, it's April Fool's."
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but when you have NBC, CBS,
that's terrible.
That's a great April Fool's prank. I mean, that's pretty sensational. Think about that. That's really pretty impressive. No one got hurt except all the Mets fans that were like, "We want a pitcher." So that was George Plymouth. Now the thing is, How big was this article? In 1987, Plimpton was able to write a book about him. I just made this story even bigger. And then this is a big enough story. ESPN, they have their documentary series or look backs at history and sports and stuff on their 30 for 30 shows and stuff. They did a 30 for 30 on Sid Finch.
Oh my God.
So I mean, this was a big deal. So that's probably my favorite April Fools when you start thinking about it. But other than that, I'm not a big April Fool's guy, but that was just pretty amazing that they pulled that off. Okay, we'll get back to John Mike. John Michael's got another trivia question. Here's a much brighter trivia question. What CBS TV show aired its final episode on this day in 1978?
I have no idea.
1978. No, that would have been. I'm thinking, the Ed Sullivan Show pops into my head, but I think that's too late. Then All in the Family, but I think that went into the 80s. MASH went into the early 80s. What show? Oh, The Waltons. The Waltons. That was a big popular show. I'm going to go with the Waltons, John Michael. I'm going with the Waltons. What do you have? What do you have for us? What's the answer to this trivia question? Let me go with the Waltons. Jordan, anything?
I have no idea.
1978. Can you look it up? CBS show that went off the air. April 1st, 1978. Oh, here we go. The Bob Newhart Show.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, that was a good show. He was a psychiatrist. And then after he had that show, he went. Then they had Newhart, which I think was the one where he was up in New Hampshire or Maine, and he was owned like a hotel or something like that up there. I didn't really watch that. With the Bob Newhart Show, I remember that being on. I think it was on Sunday nights or Sunday nights maybe. I remember watching that, but I can't remember what night it was. It was definitely on a weekend. I think it was right around Mary Tyler Moore show too. So I think it was that matchup. Let's see, Bob Newhart. Is Bob Newhart still alive, or did he just pass? Let's see. I think he may have just passed. Yep, July 18th, 2024.
Oh.
Oak Park, Illinois. Born September 5th, 1929. Yeah. Let's see. Grammy Awards, Emmy Awards, Golden Globes, Mark Twain, American Humor, 2002. Bob Newhart, impressive career. And let's see. Oh, Wrestling Place. A lot of celebrities. If you want to go look at celebrity grave sites, I don't know why anyone would. But Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Hollywood Hills. A lot of celebrities buried there. Loyola University in Chicago. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Bob Newhart Show. Newhart hosted a show, short-lived variety show, The Bob Newhart Show in 1961 before starring Chicago psychologist Robert Hartley on The Bob Newhart Show from 1972 to 1978. Later, he won the Golden Globe Award for Best Male TV Star. He then starred as a Vermont innkeeper, Dick Loudon, on the series Newhart 1982 to 1990. Received 3 nominations for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. So there you go. Bob Newhart. I'll tell you what, John Michael bringing the April 1st trivia questions today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, Sid Finch, everybody. If you're going, who's Sid Finch? Look it up. It's a pretty cool story. I'm sure you can find the article somewhere. I would imagine that would be online if you want to read about Sid Finch. It's pretty impressive. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoys their April Fools and enjoys the day this Tuesday. And we'll see you tomorrow. Can't thank you enough for joining us. Can't thank Valley Converting for joining us. Jordan, can't thank you enough for joining us. And Jordan is getting ready for busy season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's not worried about April Fool. She's worried about busy season coming up in the next what? When does that start? What's our start date for busy season? We're thinking May.
May.
Okay, so you got a month to prepare.
May's when it starts.
When's it finish? December. New Year's Eve.
After October.
After October. That is a busy season. Wow. Really? Man. Busy season lasts longer than 2 seasons. All right, everybody. Until next time, remember, have fun and always try your best. We will see you next.